I wanted to share something with you that I don't usually go to other people's work. I usually stick with the scriptures and their application in real life. But I found this on truthbook.com. I dreamed I was in heaven where an angel kept God's book. He was writing so intently, I just had to take a look. It was not, at first, his writing that made me stop and think, but the fluid in the bottle that was marked eternal ink. This ink was most amazing, dark black upon his blotter, but as it touched the parchment, it became as clear as water. The angel kept on writing, but as quickly as a wink, the words were disappearing with this strange eternal ink. The angel took no notice, but kept on writing and on and on. He turned each page and filled it till all the space was gone. I thought he wrote to no avail. His efforts were so vain, for he wrote 1,000 pages that he'd never read again. As I watched and wondered that this awesome sight was mine, I actually saw a word stay black as it dried upon the line. The angel wrote, and I thought I saw a look of satisfaction. At last he had some print to show for all this earnest action. A line or two dried dark and stayed, as black can be. But strangely, the next paragraph became invisible to see. The book was getting fuller. The angel's records true, but most of it was blank, with just a few words coming through. I knew there had to be a reason, but as hard as I could think, I couldn't grasp the significance. What is this eternal ink? The mystery burned within me, and I finally dared to ask the angel to explain to me of this amazing task. And what I heard was frightful as the angel turned his head. He looked directly at me, and this is what he said. I know you stand and wonder at what my writing's worth, but God has told me to record the lives of those on earth. The book that I am filling is an accurate account of every word and action and to what they do amount. And since you have been watching, I must tell you what is true. The details of this journal are strict accounts of you. The Lord asked me to watch you as each day you worked and played. I saw you when you went to church. I saw you when you prayed. But I was told to document your life through the whole week. I wrote when you were proud and bold. I wrote when you were meek. I recorded all your attitudes, whether they were good or bad. I was sorry that I had to write things that made God sad. So now I'll tell the wonder of this eternal ink, for the reason for its mystery should make you stop and think. This ink that God created to help me keep my journal will only keep a record of things that are eternal. So much of life is wasted on things that matter not. So instead of my erasing and smudging ink and making an ugly blot, I just keep writing faithfully and let the ink do all the rest. For it's able to decide what is useless and what is best. And God ordained that as I write of all you do and say, your deeds that count for nothing will just disappear away. When books are opened someday, as sure as heaven is true, the Lord's eternal ink will tell what mattered most to you. If you just lived to please yourself, the pages will be bare. And God will issue no reward for you when you get there. In fact, you'll be embarrassed. You'll hang your head in shame because you didn't give yourself in love to Jesus' name. Yet maybe there will be a few recorded lines that stayed, that showed the times you truly cared, sincerely loved, or prayed. But you always wonder, as you enter heaven's door, how much more glad you would have been if only you'd done more. For I record as God sees. I don't stop to even think, because the truth is written in God's eternal ink. When I heard the angel's story, I fell down. I wept. I cried. For as yet I was still dreaming. I hadn't actually died. And I said, "Oh, angel, tell the Lord that as soon as I awake, I'll live my life for Jesus. I'll do all for his dear name's sake. I'll give him full surrender. I'll do all he wants me to do. I'll turn my back on sin and whatever isn't true. And though the way seems long and rough, I promise to endure. I'm determined to pursue the things that are holy and clean and pure. With Jesus as my helper, I will win lost souls to thee, for I know that they will live with Christ for all eternity." And that's what really matters when my life on earth is gone and I stand before the Lord and hear him say, "Well done." For it is really worth it as my life lies at the brink. And I realize that God does keep books in eternal ink. Should all my life be focused on things that turn to dust, from this point on I'll serve the Lord. I can. I will. I must. I will not send blank pages up to God's majestic throne. For where that record's going now, I want to be my eternal home. I'm going to give all to Jesus. I now have seen the link, for I saw the angel write my life with God's eternal ink.